Hey, I'm Chrono Garuda and today we're taking a look at the DX Onitaijin from Voyage-Lahar Sentai DonBrothers. And as you can see, this is a huge box. I'm just gonna give a quick comparison with my hand here. But this is just massive, and it's not your typical Sentai box either because it has this really awesome artwork of the mecha sitting on some kind of throne. And starting things off with the packaging, as I just said, we got this really awesome artwork. It presumably says DX Onitaijin, and on the top here it says Voyage-Lahar Sentai DonBrothers. Strangely, not the regular Bandai logo, but Bandai Namco. Please bear with me. This is a very heavy box as well. Got the regular Bandai logo there. At the top, you've got the DonBrothers in a really cool promotional shot with the mecha's head back there. On the side, it just has this, and it says it is 36 centimeters tall, making it the biggest mainline Sentai mech on its own. And on the back, it's got this nice promotional stuff and all the things this mecha can do, and shows off its awesome articulation. Man, this is extremely articulated mecha, so I'm really excited to play around with this thing. On the back, it just shows you all of the components, and at the bottom, oh, pardon me, you just got another picture of the mech. One last thing we cannot ever forget is all the warning labels and Sad Pac-Man! And that's basically it for the packaging. So let's open up this monster and let's see how awesome it truly is. And here's the mecha all taken apart into the 5 Robotaros. And while this is a really nice set with great engineering and a colossal size, all in exchange for the lack of a spread. Oh, I mean, it's not like we've been waiting 46 years for a fully articulated mainline Super Sentai figure that had lots of posability and crazy engineering and all these transformation gimmicks and all that. I mean, seriously, it can move so much with the arms, the legs, and everything, but it can't do a spread like seriously, what the fuck? So here you have Don Robotaro, and this is probably the best looking of them all individually. And he just reminds me a lot of Super Zero Zord number 5 with the aesthetics and everything. And much like the Super Zero Zords, he actually has a helmet store in the back, like Super Zero Zord number 2, I think, the yellow one. And he just looks really nice, and he has really weird, tiny feet, and you think he will not be able to stand at all, but you're actually kind of wrong if he's on the right surface. Even if I were to tap on him, actually, no, never mind, he falls. But yeah, for the most part, he actually stands surprisingly well, just by having tiny little feet. Now, there's a little backstory to this entire toy, if you will, that supposedly one of the show's producers has a kid who owns the Zenkaiohs figure. And this guy here, and I'm trying to give you a quick early size comparison here, he's huge, and complained that this guy wasn't very posable. So the answer to this from Bandai and Platts was designing a robot that was far more articulated when all combined, so I think that's really cool. But unfortunately, this guy individually sucks in terms of articulation, because he cannot move the arms, but he can do this, but that's for transformation. He can do this, also for transformation, but he has a ball joint at the head. He can move the legs a little bit, no spread again, like I mentioned before, and the bend at the knee, which is really loud with the ratchet joints, and even the feet can go down, that's for transformation. And I really like how some of the figures in the set give you the option to turn the head. So it just gives you a lot more options for display, and I don't say a lot, but it just gives them more personality, and I really like that. Next up here we have Oni Sister Robotaro. Now, if you just look at it from the front, it looks okay. But once you turn to the side or the back, you just see some kibble back here with this giant foot, and this does become a leg in a really, really cool way. I love how this thing transforms. But it's just very plain and simplistic, but I do like the head. All the heads on these mecha do resemble their DonBrother counterparts. And yes, minor spoiler to the show, but apparently these guys can transform into these mecha. and they're not piloted. They're kind of like the, I don't know what they're called in Magi Ranger, but the Mystic Titans from Mystic Force. They're very similar to that. Now, articulation wise, the head can move a little, but the arms can't really move at all, and the legs are just one piece. But you can do this to make it look like it's sitting, but you can't really do this. Not much to really say other than that, so we're moving on. This is Brother Robotaro, and this one is pretty nice. Honestly reminds me a lot of the three main Geki beasts from Geki Ranger. You know, the tiger, the jaguar, and the cheetah. And even the face looks like it has sunglasses. But unlike those three cats, this thing can't open its mouth. For posability, nothing at the head. The legs can go back and forth, but moving this leg forward too much will cause them to pop off. Same on this side here too. Full rotation at the back legs. The tail can move side to side and can go up and down, as well as a crunch at the front, but that's for transformation. Next up is Kaji Brother Robotaro. Now this one is actually probably my least favorite because it doesn't have any kind of landing gear, legs, nothing. But I do like this clear section here with the pink and everything. Yeah, I kind of get Kira Major vibes with this. I'm not gonna lie, it looks really nice. And not really much to really say, honestly. It's just very flat. It just lays flat on the ground, and it has a nice look to it, but it's kind of weak since it doesn't have any proper legs. I also feel like the wingspan is way too short for such a long mecha, but it does have some nice detail underneath, which is nice, and on the sides. Just show how it looks on the other side here. Yeah, but for posability, you can't really do much. The head can look down. This is for transformation. Kind of spoils it, but you can do that. And the wings can fold down. So with this articulation, you can kind of imitate the Falcon Sword from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3 and have it fly down like that. But other than that, there really isn't much this guy can really do. If you use a Bandai figure art stand, you can actually rest him on here like that and turn his head a little. And now that looks a little bit better. And last but not least, here we have Saru Brother Robotaro. Now, Saru means monkey in Japanese. And DonBrothers is a Momotaro themed Super Sentai series. And Momotaro is basically, for those who don't know, is a folk tale about a child who was born from a peach who goes on a quest to fight the Oni army, and he comes across several animals along the way, and one of them is a monkey. However, as you can see, he doesn't have a tail, making him a gorilla or an ape. But aside from that, he's not bad looking at all. He even got some nice fur texture all over him, and that's really nice. But I will admit, this head sculpt makes him look very alien-like. He also has this silver ab piece, which is actually used for the combination, which we'll see later on. For posability, the head is on a ball joint. This arm can rotate and can also move out that far. You also get some bends at the elbow. The hand can also open and close, and it's on a ball joint. Earlier before, I did mention that this figure lacks a spread, but I was more referring to the thighs, not the arms. But if you notice, I only said this arm. The The reason for that is because this arm is completely fixed. It's on this piece here that tabs into here and has the head. Not a terrible idea, but if it were me, I would have had the arms extend a little bit. That way it's disconnected from this piece, and for combination, you push them in and they lock, and then that allows for some transformation points. I'm not even an engineer, but even I can figure something like that out. Although this arm can't really rotate or spread, you still get the elbow and hand articulation. Overall, these guys are okay on their own, but they are at their strongest when they transform and combine into Onitaijin. So, let's get right into it. Onitaijin all put together, and wow, this guy is gargantuan. I'll do some size comparisons a little bit later, but this guy has a lot of presence. I love how all the Robotaros all have their little faces here, including on the forehead for the helmet, and it just looks really awesome and really imposing. However, the feel of this set overall, the plastic feels a lot more oily than other figures that I own, and that's kind of a thing I'm starting to notice with more modern DX mecha, is that they're just getting more oily and feeling a little cheap. It's still a very good figure, but like, you know, for the price you're paying, you expect the plastic to be a little better. Now, this guy has not that much mass. As you can see, he's actually pretty light because there's no die-cast metal or anything. And here's how he looks on the side, and the back, and on the other side. And now these wings can actually fold down, but I would display them like this. And those swords you have up there can be taken off, and he can be held, or should I say they can be held as weapons. So you just pull them off, put it onto this hand, and to get it on the hand you have to open it up and match these pieces here. Come on, focus. Kind of get the idea, but basically there's little holes in here, and you put it into the hand like this, and you close it, and rinse and repeat with the other one. And there you go. Now for posability, this was supposedly the selling point of the figure. And it does have good posability for a Sentai figure, but for a standard action figure or something on higher levels like a Soul Chogokin figure, I was expecting way more on this guy. For starters, you got a ball jointed head. The arms can rotate, but you can move this out of the way for more arm articulation. The arms can go out, the hands can open and close as seen before. You get a waist swivel. Come to think about it, I think Robotaro can have a waist as well, but I never really noticed it, but it's probably usable there. The legs can't spread. This is the Achilles heel of this figure. And not only that, but the skirt pieces can't even open up, which is a huge letdown. But he has thigh swivel, a bend at the knee, and even has ankle pivot. It's almost perfect with articulation, but just needs more on the bottom half for it to be perfection. Oh, and I almost forgot. The legs can go back and forth. And now that's it for articulation. Now for some size comparisons, here he is next to the high-grade Gundam Revive, the Black Series Darth Nihilus, my previous review, the Solf Chigokin FA Zamboth 3, Hasbro's Dino Fury Megazord, and here it is next to an average size Super Sentai figure. Here we have Zenkaiohs Gawan. Overall, this figure is great, but he's far from perfect. Although this figure has very good articulation for a Super Sentai figure, the lack of a thigh spread and the skirts moving is just such a huge letdown for me. I mean, comparing the articulation on a Sentai figure is like comparing the articulation to like a rock or something, but I was hoping it'd be a little bit more posable with the thigh spread. That would have done so much more to this figure, but I guess it's not the end of the world because this is a very cool pose, but that is just my take on the figure. What are your thoughts on this figure? Are you planning on getting it? Please let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the flip side.